So now we have team the Gratitude Pioneers with us. The topic of their presentation is Gratitude, Killer of Envy. I would like to wish the team good luck. Now I welcome Mansi Prabhakaran, mentor of the team, to start with the presentation. Over to you, Mansi.
Thank you so much, Ria ma'am. Thank you to the members of Anon Global Foundation, first of all, for providing this opportunity. And of course, a very warm welcome to all our eminent jury members here. Shiv, if you could just share the screen once. Okay. Could we go to the first slide? Yeah, thank you. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to today's presentation by Team Gratitude Pioneers. As you all know, our topic is Gratitude, the Killer of Envy. So before beginning, I would like all the eminent jury members, members from Anon management team, and everybody, even my fellow interns, to just close their eyes for the next 10 seconds and think of 3 things that they feel most grateful for today. Just 3 things, 10 seconds, any 3 things that come to your mind. Be it family, be it your work, be it the roof that we have over our heads, be it your body, any 3 things. Thank you for doing that little exercise. I can see a lot of people here smiling because things that we feel grateful for often make us smile. So beginning this presentation on a very positive note, it is with great pleasure that I would like to introduce my wonderful team. It's an all-girls team. So of course, my name is Mansi, and I have been a part of Anon for some time now. So next I have my, Shiv, could we go to the next slide, please? We have our interns, Shomi, who's from Kolkata. We have Hanisha, who's based in Rohtak. We have Shivmaya, who's in Chennai, and we have Punya from Delhi. So we have people from all parts of India in our team. So it's a multicultural, very diverse team. So with this, I welcome you all to this presentation. And I hope that we all gain something from it and we all make this practice of gratitude something that we can practice every day in our lives. So over to you, Punya.
Gratitude is an antidote to negative emotions, a neutralizer of envy, hostility, worry, and irritation. A heart full of gratitude has no room for envy, jealousy, and strife. The readiness to show appreciation for is what is known as gratitude. There are many ways in which we could actually practice gratitude in our everyday life. For example, if I had to ask you what are the 3 things that you're grateful for, then Aarti ma'am, what would be your response?
Well, I have found the team, Anon team, and I am very much grateful to all those who are volunteering with me and doing the social cause.
That's great. Envy is the longing to possess something awarded to or achieved by another person, but it is not limited to material possessions. An example of envy is the strong desire for a friend's brand new car. However, there's a slight difference between jealousy and envy. Jealousy can be fearful of losing attention or being possessive or protective. But what is it that today's world is becoming so envious as compared to the earlier times? It is mainly because of media and social media, which keeps on bombarding us with things like a perfect holiday, a perfect partner, and a perfect life, because of which we stop focusing on what we have and wish for other things. Now I would like Shiv to take over.
So what are the negative effects of envy? Being envious causes anxiety. Worry or fear for something that is about to happen is anxiety. Envious people tend to feel very anxious because they feel overwhelmed by situations, they are oversensitive and over emotional. This causes anxiety, and in severe cases, anxiety disorder is formed by such people. Discontentment. Envious people tend to be very dissatisfied with what they have, as they keep focusing on the things that others have, that others possess. So they don't appreciate the things that they have, and they feel very dissatisfied, or rather very discontent with whatever they have or what they've achieved. Depression. Depression is one of the most serious mood disorders that causes great sadness and loss of interest in everything. So, how does envy cause depression? Envious people feel very insecure with themselves, and they feel very negative. They're usually pessimistic, and factors such as anxiety, as I've stated before, dissatisfaction, and and being overwhelmed easily, all this play a role in leading to depression. Stress. Envious people are very stressed because they are very insecure, and they keep trying to fit in everything. They want to be the best, and they're not happy with what we have, with what they have, and they keep getting stressed in the smallest of situations. Impatience. People that easily get envious or feel jealous tend to be more impatient in nature. This is because such people are angry and irritable in nature. They are always in a very unpleasant mood. This in turn makes them very impatient. And then we have greed. Envious people are very greedy. How can we tell this? This is because they keep desiring for things that they do not have. They keep focusing on others' possessions, and they keep focusing on things that others have. This causes them to keep wanting more and more and more, rather than appreciating and being grateful for what they already have. This point strongly correlates with the second point, that is discontentment. As they feel more dissatisfied, the more they become greedy. Now, I would like Punya to take over.
If I may give three situations now. First, relationship. If a partner prepares a special evening meal for the other partner, maybe on a birthday, wouldn't that improve that relationship? Wouldn't that feel better? Wouldn't that feel so good for the partner who has done it all by herself most of the times? It would be beyond any materialistic gift. Not only this, it creates a positive environment at home. Second, well being. If an employer appreciates its employees on a regular basis, then the employees will not only feel motivated, but also happy and confident about their work. This would lead to a better state of mind and of the employees. Would they then have any negative emotions towards the other employees if their own work is being appreciated? Third, health. A person who is content with what he possesses will always value its things and skills. This way, a person who is happy with himself will try to pay as much as attention as possible on his own health. This way, he'll look after himself in a more effective way. In all the three cases, it is gratitude that becomes the key.
Positive psychology and gratitude. So psychology is the science and the science of health and well-being. So before we understand the relationship between gratitude and happiness, let's find out what happiness actually is. Aristotle once said, happiness is the meaning and the purpose of life, the whole aim and the end of human existence. So, jury members and friends, what does happiness mean to you? Is it buying a new phone, a fancy new car, a brand new dress, eating your favorite food, or having enough money in your wallet? Let's find it out by seeing in a research. This is a research done in the US about the consumption and the happiness rate. So here, the green line shows the average income of a common American household, and yellow boxes show the happiness quotient from year 1955 to 2005. Just like in the treadmill, after reaching a certain weight loss, the weight remains more or less constant. Similarly, here, the increase in the average income or consumption, here the happiness quotient will remain almost constant. So this research tell us that we don't need it. We don't need that fancy car or that brand new dress or similar things like that to make us happy. So then the question arises, what makes us happy? What brings us that joy? How do you feel when you help someone who's hungry? When you help someone who's in need or who's poor? When you share your love, your joy, your affection with people around you, or even give a random compliment to a stranger? Does that feeling make you happy? Does that feeling bring you joy? If your answer is yes, then friends, it's gratitude, compassion, random acts of kindness. So we all have heard about this term positive psychology. Martin Seligman, the father of positive psychology. So what does Seligman's research tell us? His research tells us that gratitude has a strong and a consistent relationship with greater happiness, improved health and well-being, dealing with adversity, that is of course resilience, and building strong relationships. So there are following positive effects of gratitude too. Like the person becomes more patient, happier, healthier, more energetic, enhanced empathy, improved health, improved decision making, relationship, and self-esteem. So there are various researches done on gratitude, like by Emmons and McCullough. Their research tells us that by writing grateful things, the person becomes more optimistic, felt better about their life, and had fewer visits their physicians. That means the person becomes more healthier. Another is by Seligman. His research tells us that by writing gratitude letters and delivering them personally, had a great increase in the happiness scores and gave long lasting benefits. That means the person lives more healthy and a happier life. Yeah, and gratitude day is also celebrated on 21st September.
Cultivating gratitude the psychological way. How can we cultivate gratitude in our daily lives? First, we can start by noticing and appreciating the small things. We have a shelter, we have food, we have the daily necessities. Aren't all these things, shouldn't we be really grateful for all these things? Noticing these little things and appreciating them will really help us. Count your blessings. How blessed are we to be healthy, to live a happy life? So counting these blessings and counting these blessings will really help us to become much more grateful and thankful for what we have. Gratitude affirmations are nothing but thoughts about being grateful and thankful. The more we think about how thankful we are and how grateful we are to lead the life that we are living, it will help us to be much more happier, and it will help us live a content life. Meditation or yoga will help us to calm our body and our mind. Random acts of kindness, such as feeding the stray animals, keeping a bowl of water outside for the birds, helping the needy and the poor, it will, even though it doesn't take much out of us, it will affect us in a very big way positively. Begin a gratitude journal. A gratitude journal will help us to keep track of the things that we already have, that we have achieved by ourselves, and all our possessions. So once we begin a gratitude journal, we will start appreciating these things that we've never noticed before. Pause and look back. How much have you achieved till now? How much have you made progress? Isn't that all remarkable? Even if the progress is less, it is certainly worth valuing that progress and appreciating yourself. This will in turn help us love ourselves more. So, what are gratitude and its health benefits? Gratitude helps in improving sleep. How does gratitude help in improving sleep? This this happens when when we show our gratefulness. A neurotransmitter called serotonin is released in our brains. This neurotransmitter calms our nerves and helps our whole mind and body to calm down. The more we are calm and peaceful, the better our sleep is. Strengthens physiological well-being. Gratitude, a study has shown us that people that practice gratitude in their daily life have a better health, and people that are sick or that are going through different medical procedures have shown improvement in sleep, improvement in their heart health, and various other things. Longevity. Although it has not been proven to be the case, evidence has suggested that practicing gratitude in our daily life will surely help us, might surely help us to lead a longer life. This is because gratitude decreases the neurogeneration in us. So neurogeneration is something that causes diseases such as Alzheimer's, that comes in old people that are old. And practicing gratitude in our daily life, it reduces the flow of this neurogeneration, which in turn will help us lead a longer life. Boosts our life energies. When we give thanks or when we show our gratefulness, we release a neurotransmitter called dopamine, which is also called as the feel-good chemical in our brains. When we release this dopamine, the energy levels in our body start to rise, and people that practice gratitude and thankfulness, they are very energetic and optimistic in nature. Builds and boosts inner confidence and well-being. So the people that are grateful for what they have and that appreciate the things they have, they tend to be much more confident. This is because they are happy with who they are, and they are satisfied with what they have. This shows us that gratitude has a lot of health benefits, and it will surely help us to be much more healthier and much more optimistic.
Gratitude in religion. Religion has always been about inclusiveness of ideas, philosophies, virtues. Gratitude is one of the most moving human emotions, and all religions in the world have made it a part to include gratitude in their teachings in a beautiful way. If one is not grateful, one cannot completely surrender themselves to the God and dissolve themselves in their devotion. It becomes impossible thereby to attain liberation and enlightenment. In all religions of Hinduism, Islam, Judaism, Christianity, phenomenal amount of importance is given in practicing of gratitude. It is said that even if one does not know how to do the proper rituals and the religious practices, one can reach out to God and show their devotion and love simply by being grateful towards the life they have. Small things like saying a daily prayer before going to bed, serving the poor, performing religious practices like yagyas, thanksgiving ceremonies are just some suggestive ways in which one can practice gratitude. When gratitude is practiced and expressed along with religion, a person can become self-liberated. This brings me to two phenomenal examples of Swami Vivekananda and Mother Teresa, who had deeply touched millions of lives simply by being grateful and serving the humanity. The main idea is, however, to thank the Creator for what we have. Some prominent examples by which we can take from different religions around the world are the three graces of Christmas, which tells us to have faith and love in God. Thanksgiving prayers in Buddhism are a beautiful way in which Buddhists express their gratitude towards elements of nature and forces and their life-driving entities. It reminds us that rather than taking the life-driving entities for granted, we should be grateful that we have them and they help us to be to exist in a beneficial way. Not forgetting to mention the beautiful folk tales on acts of gratitude and kindness in the Judaism scripture. When one becomes grateful, they automatically become kind, and hence it would not be wrong to say that gratitude with itself brings a house full of positive emotions. In Hinduism, the old age practices of performing yagyas have contributed significantly in making us realize that we are not the only species that survive in the planet. There are others with which we have to coexist happily, and thus we need to be very much grateful to them. The phrase Alhamdulillah, which is most of us have heard from our Muslim friends, is just a beautiful way by which they express their gratitude and love towards Allah. As William Blake rightly said, that gratitude itself is the heaven. And once we start living in the bliss of emotional, psychological, and mental well being, I am sure none of us would like to come back from there. Now I pass down to Hanisha.
Thank you, Swami. So, non-verbal gratitude has been a part of our culture in India for centuries. Shukrana, a virtue, a dharma. We have been expressing our gratitude towards rivers, fire, water, mountains, Mother Earth. Sun salutation or Surya Namaskar is expressing gratitude towards the sun or the light. By keeping food aside for the hungry, for the poor, for the birds and the animals, by doing service or seva for the less fortunate or homeless people. Langar, the open kitchen, is also an example of expressing our gratitude. So, there are various Sanskrit shlokas for expressing gratitude like Anandam, I am bliss. Kritijanam, I am grateful. Namaste, I recognize my true essence in every soul I meet. Karunaham, I am compassion. Dhanyavad, I feel grateful. Sampratiham, the present moment is my true self. Thank you.
This quarantine has made me open up to a lot of new dimensions of life. I, however, got an amazing chance to go through this book of Tuesdays with Maury, written by Mitch Albom. This is one of the most recommended books in positive psychology. The book is all about Professor Maury, who was down with ALS. It is a serious terminal illness of neurological disorder. And through the talk session with the author for 14 Tuesdays, he gave the last lessons of his life. According to Maury, people should stop hunting around materialistic possession, but instead they should be grateful and valuing the memories, the people, and the relationships that they have acquired through the works of their life. Being grateful for all these non-materialistic possessions in turn make us good human beings and allow us to live in the present fully and satisfied rather than digging up our past and imagining our future. Life is very short. We need to be very much grateful to the people, to the memories, to the things that we have been given, that we have acquired, and that, most importantly, that life has given to us. Therefore, on this note, I would request all the esteemed panelists and my dear friends to give this book a definite read. Thank you. This was my analysis of this book.
Coming to the survey, we received the responses of 131 people, in which people from 14 years to 63 years participated. The most participated age groups were 14 to 18 years and 47 to 50 years. People from both the genders participated, but 68.7% of the females participated, taking on the lead, while 31.3% of the men participated. Coming to the first question, what do you feel most grateful for? So the objective of this question was to find out the things for which people are most grateful for. And the analysis was that 63.4% people felt most grateful for their family. 10.7% of the people were most grateful for themselves, and the other people for their friends, work, life, etc. Coming to the second question, When I drive by the scene of a car accident, it reminds me to be thankful that I'm safe. So the objective was to find out that actually how many people actually feel grateful that they're safe and alive. The analysis was that 9.2% of the people strongly disagreed, 16% people disagreed, 42% agreed, and 32.8% people strongly agreed. This means that the majority of the people are grateful that they're able to see a new day and get a new opportunity each day. Now I would like Somi to take over.
Coming to the third question, how often do you express gratitude for yourself in your life? The objective was to find out how people are grateful in this time. And on a positive note, we found out that 55.7% often express gratitude, 25.2% express it very often, 19.7% not often express their gratitude. As the situations are improving, we hope for more better results. The fourth question is very much relevant in this pandemic time. Our idea was to know how people are being grateful in the tough times of pandemic, and on a very positive and hopeful note, we found out that 91.6% people are grateful while 8.4% people are not. Gratitude helps us overcoming challenging times and develops resilience. And as we are seeing the numbers, it is very much hoping and very much positive to see that so many people have took the best out of the negative situation.
Jealousy would be far less torturous if we understand that love is a passion entirely unrelated to our merits. To avoid this feeling, there are some steps. Shift your focus on the goodness of your life. The reason for one being envious is to count others' blessings. Remind yourself of your blessings. Celebrate the success of others. We have to stop viewing life as a competition. When somebody receives something that you desire, be happy for them. Be generous. As you begin to spend more time and more energy with those who have less than you, you'll feel more content with what you have. Spend time with grateful people. Gratitude is highly contagious. Find grateful people who experience contentment in their lives and spend quality time with them. Both jealousy and envy have held us hostage for too long. Once and for all, to break free from jealousy and envy. Thank you.
Now we've come to the end of this presentation. We've learned about the effects of envy, the benefits of practicing gratitude and appreciation, applications of it, the strong relations between religions and the concept of gratitude, and the various ways through which gratitude can be displayed. Gratitude is a very strong emotion, having the ability to erase the negative emotions in us. Gratitude is undeniably beautiful. Ultimately, this wonderful emotion has the power to kill envy and jealousy, and thus it is gratitude, the killer of envy. Now, this is a movie that we have created. During these tough times of a pandemic, we are certainly grateful to be a part of this wonderful internship program. One of the most important aspects of this presentation is the movie making, and the filming was really fun and enjoyable. We certainly hope that you enjoy this movie. Thank you.
Ever thought what would happen if we are not able to see the movie? If we somehow brought this beautiful... You need to stop this thing. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Sorry for the inconvenience, ma'am.
Ever thought what would happen if we change history? If we somehow brought this beautiful concept of gratitude into our very popular mythological stories and see how the tables will turn? Our movie delves into two very popular mythological stories, the Ramayana and the Mahabharata, and integrates the concept of gratitude, and you can see for yourself. We bring to you a scene from the Ramayana where Mantra is trying to poison Kaikeyi's mind, trying to bring all these feelings of envy and jealousy in her heart. See next what happens.
Queen, do you know that Ram is being given the throne?
Really, I'm so happy for him.
But I have understood that this is Ram's plan to take over the throne and become the king. You should realize that if Ram becomes the king, then Bharat will forever be his subordinate. He will always have to follow his orders.
No, Mantra, you are wrong. Both of my sons are equal for me, and I know that my Ram will never treat Bharat as his servant.
Queen, try to understand that Ram will never think about Bharat and will use him for his own good. You should use those two boons that were given to you by King Dashrath. In this way, you will be able to make Bharat as the king and Ram will become subordinate to him.
No, both of them are my sons, and it will be fair if he sits on the throne, not because he is the eldest, but also he is the most mature and the fittest person. He can handle all the duties of the king wisely. We should be grateful for our family and should try to keep it together.
Next, we bring to you a scene from the Mahabharata. As we all know, the cunning Shakuni poisoned Duryodhan's mind and caused all the misery that happened afterward. So, we bring to you a story with a twist.
Duryodhana, please think of ideas of conquering the Indraprasth and dethroning the Pandavas.
Why, uncle? Pandavas are my brothers. Why would I want to take Indraprasth from them?
Try to understand, dear. You taking away Indraprasth from them would add to your wealth and power. You would be superior to the Pandavas.
I've already done a lot of injustice to them. I've humiliated them to a large extent, and now I've learned my ways. I'm grateful for what I have. Let's focus on what we have rather than taking things that belong to others. Envy is the biggest of all vices.
This small movie was our endeavor, our take on the practice of gratitude. As you can see, history would have been something really different if people in the past would have adopted this practice of gratitude and let go of all the envy and jealousy. So here's wishing that may peace prevail and may everybody practice gratitude.
What is gratitude in your daily life?
By saying thank you to my parents and to God for giving me a very blessed life.
Has gratitude helped you in any aspect of your life?
Yeah, in my social life, in my work life, it helps me in all aspects of my life.
Recall a situation where either you or someone else expressed gratitude, and how do you feel?
So 10 years ago, my helper in my house, Sudhir, he got electrocuted by some wires, and I thought that I should just switch the thing off. So I switched it off and he fell. But technically I did save his life, so he's pretty thankful for that.
Has gratitude helped you in any aspect of your life?
Yes, definitely. Gratitude, or rather being grateful for things that I have, has helped me in realizing the value of things, has helped me in appreciating life. And gratitude therefore is a very important aspect, and it has given a new dimension, or rather you learn to appreciate and value things. When you see someone who is less fortunate to have the things that you have, you learn to appreciate the value of those things that you have. So gratitude is important.
So how do you express gratitude in your daily life?
I like to thank God for whatever He has given me, for such a lovely family. I like to work towards society. by contributing for and donating for poor and needy people. That's the way I like to express gratitude. Thank you.
Now we've come to the end of this movie making, and now I'd like to invite our mentor Manasi ma'am to express her views and thoughts on this research project. Ma'am.
Thank you. First of all, I would like to extend my heartiest congratulations and
Can you just stop the sharing, please?
okay, thank you. First of all, I'd like to congratulate and express my gratitude towards my wonderful team, Punya, Shiv, Somi, and Hanisha. Wonderful job. That is the first set of people that I would like to thank, because since our entire presentation was about gratitude, it would not be fair if we would start before thanking the people who made this project possible. Then, of course, extending my heartiest thanks to all the jury members for sitting so patiently and listening to what we had to say. This concept of gratitude is very abstract in its own essence, and explaining it through a research project seemed like a challenge. However, when we started doing it, it felt like, okay, it's just, we just have to take all the real life things and all the things that we experience every day and just collate them and present them in a manner that everybody would be able to relate to. Of course, thanking Anon Global Foundation once again for providing this opportunity. Now, since my gratitude part is over, this research project, my view of gratitude as a concept has been life-changing. I used to believe to be an atheist until I was 15, which is when I somewhere came to the path of spirituality and have followed it since then. For me, spirituality is nothing but gratitude. And I cannot tell you ways in which it has transformed my life. So this topic itself was very personal and was very important to me as a human, as a person who's growing and discovering various aspects of life. When we first talked to each other, Shiv, Punya, me, Shami, we have always interacted as friends, and I would not be telling you the truth if I would tell you that they call me ma'am. They call me Didi because that's how it has always been. We have had a formal work culture, but outside of work that we have done together in this research project, we have also became friends. So first thing, of course, this was very personal to me. Survey was something that the results of which were very heartening to me, that even in these times of a pandemic, people actually, even as we can see all around us, people are, some people have lost their jobs, some people, for example, students like me, we are nowhere. I don't even have a college to go to. I don't even have a school to go back to. All of the students here, the interns who prepare this presentation, all of the teachers, as I can see, the jury members are teachers, even they cannot interact with their students. So in this case, people did take out the time and all of them gave positive responses, which itself was very heartening for me as an individual, because it spoke a lot to me about how humans have this inbuilt resilience, how we can bounce back from any difficult situation that we face. Another thing that was very interesting to me, as Shiv also very nicely said, was the movie making part. We wanted to make a movie which would not only appeal to people above the age of 35, 40, but would also appeal to children like us, or even children. So when I showed this movie to my younger sibling, even she could relate to it. And she's 5 years younger to me. So that was why we wanted to bring out this idea was completely theirs. I was just the one who was just approving the script. That's it. But that's why I wanted to bring this to the fore, that if history would have looked at things differently, if these human values we would have inculcated in our kings and renowned people of older times, things would have been different. So that was just an example. And of course, I'm very happy to be here, and very proud to say that my team and our team gave such a presentation. Of course, thank you once again for everybody for being such patient listeners and sitting here. Now we're also open to any kind of question and answers if there are any.
Okay, let's have a big round of applause for the team. Well done. It was indeed an exhaustive and an insightful presentation. Now, I request our jury members to give their views and ask questions from our interns. Aparna ma'am.
Well, as Mansi said, it must have been a transformational experience. The whole journey, it is personal, it is collective, it's philosophical, and it's also the practical, pragmatic aspect of the life. And the whole, different spectrums of life, different spectrums of the ages. You've touched upon our epics, Ramayana and Mahabharata, and you've come up to Corona times, the COVID times, the daily challenges, life with your family, life in the school, relationship with the teachers, the interviews that you have, you've shown, they're interesting. The movie was very interesting, and the kind of efforts that you've done, congratulations. And I was just wondering what questions am I going to ask, because you've answered all the questions that could have come into our minds. Nevertheless, my question is, will you practice keeping a gratitude journal? And how many times would you say thanks to your parents? Because, you know, our generation, we feel that we were sandwiched between the two generations in which our parents were very demanding and our children are very demanding. You know, we hardly ever got any, well, parents don't generally express gratitude, but children also, you know, you haven't done this for us, you haven't done this for us. So, would you practice doing it with your parents? Would you practice doing it with your teachers? Would you practice doing it with your friends? Because, you know, the envy part is with your peers, with your siblings. So is it going to be very difficult, or do you think this 15 days journey has changed you to the extent that you would do it? Because there are two feelings, you know. जिसको हम कहते हैं कि I am the doer, अहंकार, मैंने किया. और दूसरा ममकार, this is mine, ये मेरा है. So, you know, as human beings, we have this tendency that, well, this is mine and I am the doer, I have achieved it. So do you think it has made a change in your lives?
Yeah, ma'am, I would like to say something. Yeah. So, ma'am, first of all, good evening and thank you. I would practice gratitude, and we all will practice gratitude in our further life also. And gratitude, shukrana, what we can say in Hindi. Yeah, it is very close to my heart and all these things. So when I was small, so my parents and my grandmother would always do this shukrana thing, and I never know what to say. So I saw my mom making 2 chapatis for the cow, for the dog, and you know, keeping that bajra and water for the birds outside. Yeah. And doing all these doing similar things. So now, after doing this internship, I have understood the meaning of gratitude, shukrana, and I think my parents would be happy to see this thing, to see me learning gratitude and shukrana. So somewhere my grandmother will also be happy, because she has raised me, my cousin, my sibling with all these positive values and all things. So I think I will practice gratitude in my further life also.
Good, thank you. And today, Sharat Purnima, so it's not only the family, I think we should also express our gratitude and feel it in our hearts, to express the gratitude to the moon, to the sun, to the air, to the fire, to the earth, because they all sustain us. Thank you so much. All the best to you.
Uma ma'am.
So thank you very much for an extremely intense presentation. I think what comes to my mind is I was very impressed by the good research work, by the different aspects that you have taken. And the fact that a book was read and you have recommended a book. So I was really very happy with that. And also the way you had touched upon the current pandemic situation, because I think this topic, is so close to my heart. And consciously or subconsciously, I have been always doing this with myself and sharing with my family and friends that let's every moment have gratitude that we are alive and healthy at this time of the pandemic. So for you to take this topic and for me to be able to see your really matured and intense presentation, it really gives me immense pleasure. So I think one of the questions has been asked by Aparna ma'am. So that I really wanted to know how it has touched your personal life. So I'm not going to repeat that question. But my second question was that how would you really differentiate between jealousy and envy? Because I think it takes some time and some understanding to from the depths of your life to understand the difference between both these terms. So could anyone please like to share your understanding?
Yeah. So the main difference between envy and jealousy is that envy is to long for something that somebody else possesses, to have that feeling that even I want that thing. But jealousy is actually to feel very unhappy of the success of others, and not to be like a part of the others' success and happiness. That is the main difference.
That's the main thing. Okay, and what kind of feeling would you say that you have when you see someone possessing something, say, better than you? Probably somebody who's got better marks, or somebody who has got some materialistic thing which you have been yearning for. So how would you define your own personality? So who would like to answer this?
Tough question.
Yes, please. Yes.
Before, when I would see my classmate get really better marks than me, I used to feel a little sad. I wouldn't call myself envious, but mostly I would feel sad. And as time went by, I came to understand the concept of gratitude and understand the concept. And I started to understand that if I don't get marks, that is because I didn't work hard. That is my fault. And when I see someone get better marks than me, when my classmate gets better marks than me, I honestly feel happy for them, because the fruits of their hard work is being shown. Their hard work is being like they are being successful, and I feel happy for that, to be honest, right now. Thank you.
Wonderful, wonderful. I'm so happy to hear that. So I'm just going to conclude by saying, I firmly believe in the words of my own mentor, who says that those who always have a sense of appreciation and gratitude, they never reach an impasse in life. So you can never, ever be deadlocked if you have gratitude. So gratitude is what really makes a person modest. So you see that when you have gratitude, you will be a very humble person. You will never be arrogant, and a sense of gratitude always expands your heart. So you're always able to embrace people, because you don't say that, oh, he has what I don't have, or she has what I don't possess. So you're able to embrace people as they are, looking at the positive things in their life. So I will end with a very humble request to each one of you that please do imbibe this at this early age, so that you can really grow to become such flourishing and good human beings that success will very naturally follow behind you, right? So wish you the very, very best. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Uma ma'am. Rishi sir?
Okay, I must say it's a stupendous effort and a fantabulous presentation given by this group. And indeed, personally speaking, I always feel energetic whenever I talk to youngsters. I've been a teacher at a part of my life in my earlier stage of career, and even when I've been into sales and marketing and education domain, I used to interact with the students. So I've been reminded of my olden days and the kind of energy youngsters have, which is really appreciable. Before I ask a question, I'll have a very specific question, which will be more of an introspection. Before that, I would like to mention one thing to Punya and Siva Maya. You both mentioned that, especially Siva Maya, you said that when you saw somebody getting more marks than you used to feel envy, right? But then you practiced gratitude and you didn't feel envy and jealous. Punya also said envy moves to jealousy, right? I'm saying just bring a little change in your thought process. There's a very small difference between being jealous and zealous. J and Z. Please don't be jealous. Be envious in the positive way and be zealous to achieve something better than the other person. It means, agar Siva Maya ke marks achhe aaye hain, then I am not jealous and I am not wishing bad for her. But I am zealous of her that if she has scored 91%, I'll score 93%, working as hard or maybe more harder than her. That's my bit of advice to you guys. Then, okay, my question is a little bit of introspection. We are talking about gratitude journals. We are talking about being thankful to nature, mankind, everybody. How many of us say thanks to our mom when she cooks food for us in a hot weather, in the kitchen, struggling, and we telling her, "Mummy, namak kam hai. आज करेले की सब्जी क्यों बनाई? ये टिंडे की सब्जी में मसाला नहीं है." Have we ever said, "Mommy, thank you, you're cooking for us"?
Yes, sir, I would say something.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I've been saying thank you to my mom or anyone who cooks food for me. You know, they do so hard work in the kitchen and do so much for us and, you know, cook food for us. Yeah, sometimes hota hai namak kam hai and all, karela kyun banaya and all, like you said. So, yeah, I say thank you, and we should say thank you to people who do everything for us, to our parents and to everyone. That's the biggest thing, to say thank you.
Exactly. Then the second person with whom you should start this gratitude is your father. I have lost my father 10 years back, and I tell you, I miss him like anything. There was a time as a kid, I'll tell my father and grandfather, I need this. Now at this age, I realize what they would struggle in their life, what sacrifices they would make to bring those things to me as a child. So my humble request to all four of you is, start the gratitude exercise today evening. Okay, just go and hug your mom when she's cooking in the kitchen and she's sweating, and say, "Mom, thanks. You cook delicious meals." Even if the chapati is jala hua, doesn't matter. And once you finish your meal, just go and hug your dad and say, "Dad, thanks for all you bring for me." Just see the difference and see the happiness it brings to your parents and to you. And automatically this thing falls into your daily life and you guys will progress like anything. But the last word, don't stop at envy or jealousy. Move it to zealousy and perform better in life. Thank you very much.
May I take a moment?
Thank you so much, Rishi sir.
Mansi,
Sure,
will you
ma'am.
give me a moment? Just wanted to add, you have suggested a book. I want to suggest, I would also want to suggest, if you get time, you know, Srimad Bhagavad Gita, we feel that, well, it is a treatise and it is a treatise for elderly people. But this is internet time. This is Bhagavad Gita for children. Do go through it and you will learn a lot. This is something very insightful. And, you know, when you go to a market, you buy a gadget, there's a user manual. Srimad Bhagavad Gita is like a user manual for our life, you know. It tells you how to get along, how to lead our life in harmony with our fellow beings, in our family, with the challenging times. India is a crazy place, but nevertheless, we are lucky that we are born here. So I would like to suggest you that book. And don't forget Dalai Lama. You talked of gratitude, and at some point of time, I thought someone would mention him. I think you should remember his 3 R's. And if you can see him, because you're lucky that you're born when he is alive and he can interact with you, he talks about 3 R's. And I think gratitude is basically these 3 R's. This is respect, respect for self, respect for others, and the third R is responsibility for your own actions. So you people have reflected upon it. You have expressed these things. But these are 2 role models, one in the form of a book, another in the form of, right before you. Please keep in touch with both. Thank you so much, and congratulations and best wishes.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Aarti ma'am, would you like to add something to it?
Actually, it's like a story of films that will never end, because gratitude, the thoughts that you are having, we would love to hear so many things. Your action speaks more than what you are saying. So we keep on observing. You just keep on sending us what kind of change you have brought about after this kind of research. These 15 days should be a story in your mind that will remain as such. Very good hand movement, excellent presentation, psychological impact. You have actually touched our hearts and mind. One thing that I have observed, and I was also surprised, that 91.6% people during pandemic have started this gratitude activity. And this I have observed also, because I have started a food drive, and I have seen that people are actually, they don't want to do anything. They just want to do this gratitude practice. And this learning should always be with you, even if there is no pandemic, whatever is there. This is a great learning to all of us. Thank you. An eye-opener presentation by you people. Many things we were not aware, you have made us aware of. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much, Aparna ma'am, Uma ma'am, and Rishi sir. Lastly, Aarti ma'am, for sharing your enlightening words. Summing up the event, I want to congratulate the team for their marvelous efforts and great teamwork. I would like to thank everyone for being a part of this delightful evening and taking out your valuable time for this enlightened session. Thank you so much, everyone.
And a big hand to everyone.